Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm excited to have our Rainmakers ambassador, Garrett Wilson, here, who's going to be chatting football and his big Monday Night Football game and everything else. Garrett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah, we're excited. I know that this might rival the evening that you just had on Monday, but it's going to be a good time. So looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Me too.
We're going to start off with a very important question of, obviously, you're in New York. So if you could only have New York pizza or New York bagels for the rest of your life, which would it be?
Oh, wow. I would say the pizza just because it's a dinner item and I kind of miss breakfast anyway. So whenever I'm lucky enough to have breakfast, I do like to have a bagel up here. But dinner is just more consistent for me.
So you can go through like a whole day of training or games without breakfast?
I mean, I try not to, but like on an off day, I'll likely miss breakfast. But I'm sorry about that. But
All
on
good.
any other day than that, there's no chance that I miss dinner. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say breakfast foods are my favorite, but I'm definitely the most consistent with dinner as well. So I'm
Yeah,
with you there.
yeah. I like eating breakfast food all times of the day, though. I could do like pancakes for dinner, that type of thing. Stuff like
Absolutely. Eggs any time of day.
exactly.
Okay, now we're actually going to get to the important stuff. Obviously, you had an amazing rookie season. What was the transition like from college to the pros, and what tools and preparation did you put in place to be so successful so early on?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a learning curve, with coming from Ohio State to the NFL, and not a steep one, because Ohio State does do a good job, developing us and trying to make it, as smooth as a transition as it can be. And I feel like you see that with a lot of the players that leave from Ohio State. But in my case, I tried to latch on to all the veterans on the team that I could, last year, and we had some good ones, so just making sure I was a sponge around the vets and guys like Corey Davis and Elijah, who had just had his rookie year. Um, just CJ Mosley and just people like that I could learn a lot from as far as routine and how to take care of my body. And as far as the football stuff, I knew that was always going to be natural and that, that stuff would take care of itself just because of how much I love the game. And I'm always willing to learn more. And I feel like that was the case. But, yeah, it was more just taking care of my body and just those things that come with the NFL and, playing with these grown men. I hadn't really thought about it, but these dudes, they hit hard, they fly around. So I would say that's the main concern.
Did you ever have like a welcome to the league moment where you either got like hit really hard or you had a guy like give you a piece of advice that you're like, damn, this is like legit?
Um, yeah, I would say I definitely had some hits. I would say against that. Was it in the preseason? No, it wasn't the preseason. Who did we play week 3 last year? Cincinnati. I think it was Cincinnati that we played, and I ended up hurting my ribs, and I kind of like can still feel it to this day. But yeah, just Jesse Bates. He was with Atlanta now. He was coming downhill. I'm coming over the middle, and usually when you catch these things, I'm used to being able to run after, and being able to run for a while, like not people being that close to me coming from college. And I was like fully worked into the rotation with the Jets at this point. And, I catch a strike, which is like a post over the middle. And I try and do, what I usually do. And he came and met me right there. Ended up going blue tent out for the rest. I think I came back for the last drive of the game. This happened in the third quarter. I ended up being able to get back out there. But, yeah, just, learning like, all right, sometimes you got to catch it and get down. You can't always turn upfield with these dudes. These dudes are, like I say, they can hit, they're coming downhill and they've seen it all.
It was Cincinnati. I just looked it up. So that was a very good memory.
Okay. I'm glad I didn't mess that up.
So now in your sophomore season, you're playing like roughly 89% of the snaps. How do you stay healthy playing that much and, putting that much strain on your body week after week?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, for real. And I didn't know that. That's actually the first time I heard that stat. But it comes with it. With me, since I was a young kid, I always wanted to be out there. I always wanted to play, and to be able to do that at this level, you got to be prepped to do that. You got to train yourself in the off season like that, and I think I do. I always strain really hard. The word we use for it is strain in the off season, and it leads to you being able to play 89% of the snaps. And after the game, we'll evaluate where I'm at, and whether that's therapy and like I said, some of those things that I had learned from the veterans last year, and I'm still continuing to learn about as far as recovery and how to take care of your body so that you can do it again next week. Because the way I look at it is my guys need me and I need them, and I know they all go about their business the right way. So I got to make sure I'm taking care of mine, and it's really just that treatment in between and making sure that I'm eating well. Making sure I'm sitting down. Whenever I do have my off time, I'm not outside or doing too much, and making sure that I can give everything on Sunday.
Making sure you're eating breakfast.
There it is. No, you're right. You're right. We had that in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going back to that one. Speaking of, not sitting down and not being super active, I did see that you take your dog Mello to the dog park weekly, and I loved watching those videos. But I have to know the graveyard of toys. How many toys has Mello destroyed?
So Mello has like a problem with his toys being inside the house. Every single toy I've ever bought for him, which is probably upwards of like 40 toys. And I kind of keep them all. I've had to throw away a lot because he's torn them up too much. But I would say he's got at least like 30 toys down there. And they all in the backyard, scattered around. My mom actually picked them up yesterday, um, just because she not going for that. She got OCD. She got to have it picked up. But like as soon as she's gone, all them toys are gonna be back out there on the floor. Like it's that type of vibe. He takes them all out right away, and that's where he has to have them. Like you said, graveyard of toys.
I am also at my mom's right now, and I gave her strict instructions that she cannot have sound. So I hear sound upstairs. So if there's background noise, I apologize.
You know what?
Um,
I just had the same
but
conversation with my mom. Like call at
mothers,
7. Call at 7, mom.
of course, she was like, I can't wait to listen. And I hope she's listening, and that's the noise that I hear. But
She probably is.
man.
Probably is.
So, you know, thinking about ahead this season and you've had to play with a couple quarterbacks, what's that been like for you and how have you dealt with sort of the rotating quarterbacks and trying to get acclimated and find chemistry with all of those of which you played with?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. I feel like the best way I could put it was, there's one day like I thought about it and I was like, I just got to make sure that I'm the best version of me. I'm doing my job to, my best capability, and that'll take care of the rest. I can't worry about who's, throwing the ball or who's calling the shots. Nothing like that because it's always. Um, I just don't feel like I could get to where I want to be if I had that mindset. And I feel like that's the best way I can put it. It was always about me getting better that day, waking up each morning and finding something for me personally to get better at, and knowing that that'll lead to success. And yeah, I try and make sure that I'm still consistent on that mindset. But um, yeah, man, I've had an awesome opportunity to play with a different variety of quarterbacks, and I feel like I've learned a lot in doing that, and uh, you know, I feel like yeah, like I said, it's just been a lot of different opportunities.
And speaking of quarterbacks and also some other younger players, we're really excited to have the first of its kind Rainmakers football side set with you, where we had 20 young and up and coming players in the Rainmaker tier card. What about like the list of players like CJ Stroud and Jameer Gibbs, Marvin Mims, some of your former teammates as well? How excited were you about being able to like showcase their cards and be a part of something unique and the first of its kind?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's some of my former teammates, and and to see my name with their names, and some of the other kids I know as well, like Mims is from Texas, and I've been keeping track of him since he was at Lone Star in high school, and playing in Dallas, just stuff like that, and seeing how we're all chasing our dreams, and these are some of the cool opportunities and things that come with it, and it's just super awesome. I don't get to talk to them, in person or over the phone maybe as much as I would like, but um, when you see things like that, it kind of reminds you to reach out, and it's really cool. And I know we're all really excited to be a part of this Rainmakers thing.
Love to hear it. And obviously, I spoke about your awesome rookie season, but some of them are rookies. What piece of advice or what was your biggest learning from your season? And what did you take like heading into your sophomore year?
Um, yeah, I feel like every day I was learning something last year, just because there's a lot of different nuances to the NFL, and just the week to week how the roster can change, and that thing was kind of crazy to me, that concept. Like, I just had met one dude last week, and all of a sudden he's not with the team anymore, or whatever it may have been, and we have a new guy, and just getting used to that thing. So um, I would say the main thing I learned is how this is a business, and this it has a lot to offer. It's such a blessing, and it's so awesome, but it is a business, and because of that, you got to make sure that you're always bringing something to the table. Um, and the only way I can do that is be the like I mean, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I said this earlier, but just be the best version of me, because um, yeah, like I said, it's a business, and once you don't bring that value, anything can happen. So I would say just that part of the NFL, and obviously so many other things I learned, but that was one of the main things that that was truly eye opening to me, just because of some of the people, like I said, I did have relationships with, and yeah, it's just new, and I know they're all doing well, and everyone I got to play with, I'm so thankful. But um, yeah, it just keeps turning, and the roster turns, and it's really crazy. Like, honestly, I get to meet someone new every week.
Even with so much of that roster turnover, have you made been able to make like solid friends on the team? Do you have guys that you can rely on, like when you've had a tough game or something's frustrating about practice or anything of that nature?
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely built up some especially with the class that I came in with. The rookie class, I feel like that's naturally the one you spend the most time with, just because all the rookie dev meetings we do together. The time we spend um, after hours at the facility, because we're the rookies and the vets get to go home a little earlier. Just things like that. So I feel like they're all going through the same thing as me. We all had the same type of pressure on our shoulders, and being able to bounce my thoughts off of them was really valuable, and have people like Sauce and Jermaine and Brees last year. And yeah, along with the vets that I spoke on earlier, I've also made some great friends that have been in this league for a while, and earned their stripes, and can really offer some great insight to me. So yeah, like I said, I've always tried to be a sponge, and I like to think I have good judgment on my friends, and I've made some great ones so far. So far this in my career.
I mean, you seem to have an awesome career, so I'm sure your mentors and all the friends that you've made have been only a help to you. And speaking of that, when even you were in college or going to the pros, who was one of like the players that you modeled your game after, or was like, I want to have a career like him or the routes that he runs, like I want to dominate those.
Yeah. I mean, I truly like. There's so many names coming to my head right now, so I don't know. I would say like Stevie Johnson was my favorite receiver to watch for the longest time period. And he had a great career. He stayed with one team for majority of it, I think, or maybe all of it. But and then there's guys like Randy Moss that you watch, and you're just always in awe, because they just made every play, it seemed like, and they're golden jacket guys. So ideally, and God willing, I stay healthy long enough to have a career like some of the names I just said, and um, I'm excited to see what happens. But there's a lot of people I'm out on my game after. So that's, it's hard for me to even give you one name.
And speaking of gold jackets, Super Bowls, what for you would make like your biggest career goal milestone that you would want to hit? Like, what is the epitome of success for you?
Definitely a Super Bowl, just being the champion of your league. As far as your team and all the accolades, personal accolades come with, a season like that when you put it all together and truly, make that run, because it doesn't just happen by accident. It's because of, a super intentional group of guys that get together. I could imagine, and um, I would love to be a part of that. I feel like that's, something super special that obviously no one can take from you, but um, yeah, Super Bowl.
The ring's also kind of nice too.
That too. We'll take the ring, right?
Always.
That kind of just comes with it, though. I swear, you don't even need the ring. But then the ring comes, and it's like, damn, I needed the
Yeah.
ring. You feel me?
And also the ring ceremony, the whole like it just looks incredible. Yeah. So
No, the celebration is definitely top three biggest motivation of a Super Bowl, I would say.
so what are the first two then?
Just like pride, like we the best this year. And then second, I would say the bonuses. Like, let's keep it a buck. Uh,
Absolutely. I'm down with that. Anyone listening? Kidding. So, in terms of like defense, CBs, DBs, who's the toughest guy that you've had to face?
um, uh, I feel like Xavier Howard was really physical. There's some. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. I have to go up against Jalen Ramsey this year. This year, um, Tre'Davious White. There's some good ones in our division, especially Sauce. Sauce is cold. I get to go up against him in practice and training camp. He's probably to certain. I don't know. It's really tough. I've had the opportunity to go up against a lot of great ones, and that's the best thing about this league. It's like every week, it's like, who am I going against? Because chances are I either watched them play growing up, and they've been doing it for a while, or I might know them, and we've had crossed paths before, so it's really cool. And there's so many good ones. Derwin James last week, even though he's not a corner, being able to play against him, I grew up like a Florida State fan a little bit, so seeing him out there, he was flying around. He's a good player. Like I said, there's a lot.
And I know you have traveled around a bit, born in Chicago, then grew up in Ohio, and then high school in Texas, then back to Ohio, now New York. Who were your teams growing up, and what's been now like your favorite spot to live?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love the city, honestly, and I'm not in the city. Like, I don't live in New York City. I live in Jersey, because that's where our facility at, and the city would be super inconvenient. But like, the city is amazing. I feel like New York City is my favorite, and eventually, when I get a spot in the city, that would be my favorite place I've lived. But Austin, Austin was one of those cities that's really cool. The weather's nice all the time. They love football. People are super super nice. It's just the wildlife. I don't like all the snakes and stuff like that, and it's a little too hot during the summer. So it's tough. I don't know. Like you said, I've lived everywhere. Like, I've lived, not just lived, but like stayed everywhere, and I travel a lot. Growing up, I traveled a lot with basketball and sports. Um, so I got some places that I still have to attend to, but I like New York. New York's the best.
It is. It's very busy and dirty, but it is a lot of fun. I'm in LA
So,
though, so I can't really
okay, so
say.
if you're in LA though, usually people go New York and then LA. Is that how you did it?
So, kind of a wild story, but was born in New York, then lived in St. Louis, Missouri for a couple years, then
Okay.
actually Idaho.
Oh
And
wow.
then Yeah. And then I went to college at USC and then just stayed out there after that. So
What part
yeah.
of Idaho?
Sun Valley.
Sun Valley?
Hmm.
I don't know Sun Valley, but I went to Coeur d'Alene for the first time
Okay.
last year, and it was so beautiful. I had never been to Idaho before, so
Yeah,
uh,
no, Idaho it's beautiful. Coeur d'Alene, summer or winter?
summer. It was perfect. You know, it was like
Yeah.
80 every day. Water was like crystal clear. Super
Yeah,
cool.
you were, I assume, boating on the lakes and
Yeah, we were both.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like from a small ski resort town. So
Okay.
it's pretty much as picturesque as Coeur d'Alene, but just like a little bit smaller. And we don't really have like a lake or anything. We just have a ski
Okay.
mountain. But
Got
yeah,
you. I got you.
yeah,
That's what's up. Yeah.
yeah. Put it on your travel list.
Sun Valley. I got it. It's
Yeah.
noted for sure.
Speaking of traveling, what's like your favorite place that you've been and also a place that you have on your list?
Um, I would say I haven't been everywhere I want to go yet. I want to go to Amsterdam, or not. I want to go. I love Amsterdam. I love Ibiza, but that's really the only places I've been that are like. No, my favorite place is St. Bart's. That's my favorite place, and then my dream vacation is like Japan, like Tokyo, or or I don't know. Yeah, Japan, but I haven't been yet. At this moment, St. Bartholomew.
Sounds like a nice spot, a nice off-season vacation.
No, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's perfect.
So obviously, New York is huge for major sports figures, and they've had a lot of icons come out of there. Do you feel any pressure to kind of, fit into that mold? And what was it like going to a city where, sports is super important and kind of like the lifeblood?
Yeah, I'm so blessed to be in this city and be able to play, football for a team or an organization that has a passionate, fan base like the Jets do, and have a big market to be able to take advantage of, this window that you have. So um, I wouldn't say there's like I put any pressure on me because of the city I'm in. I hold myself to a high standard to be good in football, and it's not because of anything else other than that's just how I was raised, and that's how I've always been, and and that's really that. But um, I definitely feel like there's a standard to uphold as far as what people have done here in the past, and when people put their faith in you in this city, you you want to make sure you're making good on that, and I know that they repay you, if you do. So um, that's the goal, and yeah, you know.
I also saw that one of your former childhood friends plays baseball for the New York Mets. Do you keep in touch with him? Do you go to any games?
Yeah. I've been to a few Met games. I've actually, I think I have to say Mets games. I think I've been to a few Mets games. Yeah, I think that's right. But I went to what did I do last year? I threw the first pitch, and he was the catcher. So I threw the first pitch to him, and it was like a little outside of the zone, like almost in there. Like it was almost pretty good. It would have been perfect if I had threw it better. But yeah, when we stay in touch all the time, he comes to some Jets games. He'll probably come to one later this year. We'll see how things play out because their season's wrapped up. But yeah, it's such a small world. The fact that we ended up in the same city on our own respective sports teams is that's really cool. So we definitely stay in touch. We still haven't gone out in the city yet, but that'll be soon.
I'm sure that'll be very fun.
It will be. It will be.
Also, I remember it's like the Jets and the Mets. That's
Yeah,
how I do
Jets.
it. We got
And
the
somehow the Knicks. It sounds too good. Like you should say Nets, but I think it's Knicks. So I don't know.
yeah, but it's the Brooklyn Nets and the wait, yes, Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks.
Yeah,
They're just it's like LA. There are so many teams. Like I can't keep track.
there's a lot of teams. So you're right.
And I know we are running short on time, but I know that earlier, talking about baseball, and you mentioned basketball, and your dad played collegiate basketball. Did you grow and you said growing up that you played, was that ever a thought for you, or when did you decide that, like, football was, your path?
Yeah, so my junior year of high school is when I like fully decided that I was going into my junior year that I was going to be football, But I actually had a few schools that I talked to in hoops, and I kind of thought I was going to be a little taller because my dad was like 6'5". So I was like, all right, I might keep growing. And I just didn't. So I was like, the best business decision was football. And basketball is actually my first love. I still love basketball, but Texas was so big on high school football that it was kind of natural. I feel like every time we played, in high school, it was like the whole city shut down. But in basketball, it'd be like only if we played this certain team. But it was still a really cool environment for hoops as well. But just the like where my environment and where I was, that kind of played into it as well. But I would say it was just the best business decision for me. I had like some good offers and really good offers in football and hoops. I had some offers, but the football ones were definitely superior.
So, I'll end this on your favorite just sports memory in general, whether it was a, huge game that you had or playing with your dad or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say winning the state championship my sophomore year of high school, and all the festivities that came after. Just that whole night and that whole occasion. It was just the best thing ever. Something that anytime I link with my high school friends, we talk about. Something that I think about often. Um, and yeah, maybe that's why like things like a Super Bowl sound so good to me, just because when we were the state champs, I remember how that felt, and I could imagine being you know the world champs. But yeah, winning that state championship, I think it was 2016. We beat the Woodlands. We beat the brakes off them and had a good night after, and it was just the best.
Yeah, those are definitely the moments that you live for.
Nah, for sure, for sure.
Well, I know you have other things to do, so don't wanna take up too much more of your time, but wanted to thank you so much. This was awesome, and, we loved partnering with you. We were super excited to do the first of its kind, Rainmaker set, and I know that the community loved it, and they loved having you here today too.
No, it's awesome. So I'm glad I can be a part of this, and it was super nice meeting you, Chloe. And look forward to talking more.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Everyone have a great night.
Take care.